Humanoid, though, after his really strong performances on the champion, and it looks like TL also thinking about it.
It's looking like a Kalista Orianna angle for Fnatic based on what we're currently seeing. I don't think, well, I know for Fnatic, they're not huge enthusiasts of the Senna. I'd be surprised to see a Senna ban coming out from Team Liquid. Kalista would be my expectation, but again, you're just leaving things like the Taliyah open, Orianna for Humanoid, both champions that he would love to get his hands on.
The other thing is the Lucian Nami. Obviously, yesterday in our series between G2 and T1, there were so many bot lane 80 carry focus bans. The pool significantly more open in the first draft here between Fnatic and Team Liquid. That's the Kalista as you predicted, Vetty. Do TL immediately fire back with something like a Lucian Nami, or do they want to prioritize something else?
They definitely have enjoyed the Lucian Nami combination there for Yan and Core JJ. Do they have the confidence here in game number 1 of the series to slam it down, though?
Taking some time to debate. Of course, there are a ton of priority picks left up and available. Mid lane pool still very much open despite the 2 bans. APA obviously known for 3. We saw 3 of them banned in the TES series, but has a bit more room to decide what he wants to go for. TL, of course, can save the Nami for 3rd pick if they want to prioritize a jungler here.
Okay, the other thing I'm thinking about is Taliyah. Taliyah is very high priority here. It has gone through, so honestly, I would rather pick Taliyah than the Nami now and then grab the Nami 3rd.
I feel like Xin Zhao also being available is a highly likely pick from Team Liquid, depending on what the priorities are. You can see them discussing it now.
Especially against Kalista. Okay,
Right, so
they do it. You can push the Nami till later. No, we've seen people like in Team Liquid themselves that like broke up the Nami Lucian by like, oh, we're gonna do Jin Nami, but Nami plus Kalista, that one definitely not gonna come through. So I don't think there's any danger of the Nami getting stolen away.
Debate now from the side of Fnatic, of course, can just match mid lane, take a support. And this is a very classic bot lane 2v2. I think one of the most frequently occurring, obviously, the Kalista plus
Renata Dracos.
I mean, and that's the thing. If you've watched Fnatic over the course of the year, especially in the playoffs, Jun essentially single-handedly beat G2 in the first game of the spring finals in LEC with this pick.
I mean, even against top esports at this tournament, right, he had an incredible game on it. It's one of his best champions, at least when we watch him play on stage. He has incredible performances on it. My expectations are now that it's got to be Xin Zhao or Orianna. It looks like it's going to be the Xin Zhao lock-in for Razork, so already Fnatic setting themselves up to play towards the bot side of the map, having that strong side to be able to leverage through. We're looking at Oscarinin likely being on that weak side, something like a Zac, a Cassante.
Just shout. It's just Shadow. It's going to be Nami. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Is it Kobe?
Yeah.
Are you worried? Are you saying that for us or for you?
No. I saw the look in Vetty's eye like, what the? Don't worry. Now we focus on the Cassante issue here. Blind pick Cassante has been very powerful. And we're looking at these top laners. I know, you know,
both of them love it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
and in the intro, though, I was like, wow, Oscar already calling Impact washed. That was bold. That was
you gotta wonder if he's still living the high of the Camille game from the top esports series.
I mean, honestly, though, the Camille is a good pick into the Cassante. Okay, there you go. The respect. They're like, we are going to blind the Cassante. What you gonna do about it?
And I will say, right, both of these players, I think, incredible Cassante players, and very often some of their best performing champions overall. Certainly they both had highlight games on other picks across their respective regular seasons, but Cassante we do expect to be high priority. I will say I like the aggressive jungle look from Razork. They're now taking away the Volibear. Doesn't seem like they want to give Umti an easy early aggressive response. Emily in the desk highlighted earlier, he had a lot of effectiveness in the LCS when he was getting active in lanes very early on.
I'm thinking Poppy as well. Could be something that Fnatic need to be concerned about, but then TL don't have a huge amount of engage. If they round out their draft with a Poppy and a Cassante, their ability to actually start fights is going to be very limited. But with the Camille and TF bans, it's very clear that they're looking at a Cassante pick right here. They're going to save that jungle for last for Umti, waiting to see what the entire draft is. Maybe he can round out to give the team what they need to kind of solidify this call.
And if they do that, you know, maybe the Zac comes back for Oscarin as another possibility to have some engage on their side as well for Fnatic. The two respect bans to Umti have been the Volibear and the Jax. He got a pentakill on the Jax, obviously, and the Volibear for a lot of early game priority. But Umti has played a wide variety of champions.
A lot of hovers here, taking their time. Again, Cassante is the expected pick. Zac, of course, for Oscar would be a reasonable follow-up. Cassante will be the lock-in. While BB was the originator domestically for this pick, a lot of top laners did pick it up, Oscar being one of them, one of his 3 most successful picks in the LEC playoffs alongside Cassante and Rek'Sai.
Pretty straightforward.
Nothing too crazy here from Fnatic. This is a very tried and true Fnatic composition. Weak side top for Oscar. They have aggression on the bot side of the map. You can expect a lot of early plays to be centered around mid lane with Humanoid and Razork. Razork looking to try and burn flashes, put pressure down onto APA to unlock Humanoid to even start looking for roams. It might seem weird, but Humanoid is the guy that will roam bot lane on his Orianna to make things happen for his team.
And Sejuani is pretty good if you can get between the Zac and the team and try and block there. Pretty good front line here. So we'll see. Nothing too surprising here in game number 1. Looks like we've got a good, clean opening here so far on even footing.
A lot of team fighting, strong bot sides of the map, weak side top, a lot of action centered around how much can the mid laners get involved, because APA, you would expect on the Taliyah, has that priority to be able to roam down bot. The potential threat of a 4-man dive is very real, which is why Fnatic's goal should be to try and limit what APA can do, mitigate his ability to attack the bot side of the map, and don't be surprised to see Razork doing a full clear bot side into something like a level 3 dive bot. The type of early game aggression is something that is very common for Fnatic, and we'll see if TL can handle it.
And while we did get to see some good looks coming out from the side of Fnatic in the Gen G series, even though they ultimately dropped down, it was a tough series for TL. It often fell apart very early on. So I think for TL, need to see what level they've come in at, what they've learned from that series, because if they can approach this game on even footing, if it's not just individual outplays across the map, how it felt in the TES series, we're going to have a much, much closer series overall this time around. Fnatic maybe slightly favored, but TL set up for comfort here. Comfort on both sides. Need to see how they can execute in this early game, and if their star player is going to be able to perform in this matchup. Elimination series, Fnatic versus Team Liquid. Last hope of the LCS.
EU, boys.
NA versus EU, and the all chat is good luck, have fun, straight down. 5 good luck, have fun. I like it.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest, it feels like when the 2 dogs are barking on the other side of the glass and you open the glass. This is, I was hoping for more volatile.
I kind of like this. It's the unexpected opening.
It's the unexpected,
Okay.
The only way it could have been more passive-aggressive is if they said, good luck, have fun, smiley face.
Ooh, or period.
Yeah. Oh, the period.
Yes,
Ooh,
the passive-aggressive.
Good luck, have fun. EU versus NA at MSI 2024. Here we go.
I mean, this is what we wanted, right? Last year, there were a lot of complaints. It was a lot of team kills. But this time, we're going to get to see that rivalry. The last bastion for NA, their first seed, Liquid. We're hoping to see a little bit more from them, Fnatic. They did have a competitive series against Gen G, but they ultimately still fell short in the 0-3 department. So both teams here in the main bracket stage are winless, but someone's going to get a win today.
And in our Mercedes-Benz featured matchup, Jun versus Core JJ, both these guys we're going to have to see, because normally we like the roamers. Now obviously a lot more of a focus on the individual 2v2. Can they find an advantage there? Both these guys, a masterclass in playmaking when they're able to take off and get out of lane, see what the option looks like.
Yeah, both of these bottom lanes did lose to Jackie Love. And both of them with some some learnings.
I will say, Noah's stats a lot worse than Jan's stats in that matchup. He got a bit of redemption versus Pays and Lehens, but it was a toughie.
Noah definitely is probably receiving a lot of heat. You know, some of the flashes as well in the previous series, but Jun has just been amazing. So him on that Renata, a critical pick for them, will bring a lot more comfort to the bottom side of the map. And it looks like they are using their level 1 prowess to gain control of the wave and push up down there.
Thumbs up already from Humanoid. He's feeling confident, he's excited. Early push coming out from APA as Fnatic look to get a slow push building up on the bot side of the map. Very similar as top laners just go head-to-head and beat each other with a stick. Jungler's doing a full clear from top side, moving towards bot. Good ward coming through from APA, using his prior to get information to see if he can spot out Razork. But you would imagine that Humanoid shared that information with APA. We'll see if Razork tries to path around it, as we've seen from him in previous series at this tournament.
Noah and Jun stepping out of lane for a brief moment as they have a bit of priority here, but aggressive trading on the top side. The Zac, obviously just a super obnoxious pick, especially for players who aren't ready to see it.
Look at Razork here. I think he was able to navigate his way past the vision. No pings did come down from Team Liquid. He's going to avoid the Raptors for now and to go straight over towards the red buff. The ping's still coming down. Question marks around the Raptors as TL is unsure exactly where Razork is.
Yeah, I think that they can assume that he has just skipped the Raptors and is passing downwards towards his bottom side. But as you say, they don't have the 100% confirmation there. So keeping them a little bit in the dark. And there you go, some more information on the minimap. You see Oscarin using that time. One of the benefits of Zach with the early pushing, he goes in and he got vision of enemy Krugs. So they know for sure that passed down bottom, and now TL as well. Also, visual confirmation here. Both junglers well aware.
Both junglers now approaching the crab. But of course, Fnatic have approximate information. They're not 100% sure where is. They just know the side of the map. Razork spotted on the way in. Talia now stepping down. You can see on the mini-map, but perhaps a 2v2 engage. APA just trying to zone. Difficult in an extended fight to deal with the Xin, but the immediate upfront damage from the Sejuani is tough to handle. Impact trading back and forth with Oscar in here. Third stack on the Q, and Tofu strikes. Not going to connect as Razork. They're just going to concede the crab here. Don't want to risk anything on that skirmish.
Yeah, you saw in the beginning of that skirmish, Humanoid with the range on the Orianna tagged APA, and then also Razork got his W onto APA. So that little chunk of damage, they push them out, and Fnatic are able to claim bottom Scuttle Crab. Looks like Umpty's running pretty quickly towards top side of the map. But I think Razork should be able to get a top crab too, because he has a smite as well.
Yeah, crazy that Razork was able to get both. I guess because the fact that he didn't see pass through mid lane, I guess gave him the information that he needed to say, you know what, he actually hasn't secured that top crab. Needs to be careful here though. You can see Humanoid hovering around the top side of the lane, ready to collapse. Flash.
Flash forward, traded back. Yon getting pushed away from the lane. Just support for support, flash trade overall. Nice flick back from APA in the mid lane though, going to take a lot of damage.
I'm just keeping up his invade here on Razork.
Trying to still step up. Kazante now starting to roam down. Only level 5 for impact. Oscar can get over there quickly with the elastic slingshot, but already the stun is now coming through. Razork in trouble, determined to try and take the camp, but it's costing him so much just to stick around.
Nice steal though from Umpty. He's able to get it. He's going to convert that into the Wolves too. Razork says, no, 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 this is more than you're allowed. The TP now comes through from Humanoid, and Umpty, I think he's overstayed his welcome.
Yeah. Impact is teleporting back now, but Impact is really far. Zach would get there first.
Determined to keep this going. Level 5 now for Razork. Jun on the way up. That's the Weaver's Wall, though. Stun already going down. Should just be a quick kill onto the Xin. And his first blood. Fnatic thought they had the timing, but they were damn wrong. Umpty waiting on the Arctic Assault. Wants to make it over the wall. Only level 5 for Humanoid, but he's going to get a kill back. Oscar Renin doesn't have the elastic slingshot, or does not opt to use it. So APA will be able to escape, or might just buy a bit of time here. Stretching strikes, will not find another target.
Got some bubble gum on his shoes on the way out, but he's going to be able to walk
I didn't
back.
want to be pedantic earlier, Betty, but that's an Tofu and that's a bubblegum man. They're not hitting each other with sticks.
My apologies.
Specifics are important, okay?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, getting into the specifics, it's TL that secure first blood. I do think that Umpty was overextended, but APA gets level 6 first because Humanoid chose to go back to base. The XP advantage is there. APA is able to collapse thanks to the ultimate. And look at this, the flash commit from Razork. He knows that Jun is behind and he wants to keep Umpty here, preventing him from getting to the blast cone. But that does ultimately cost him his life. They realize, oh, hang on, we're now in an awkward spot. APA is forced to flash away. Umpty chooses to save it, accepting the trade in 1-for-1 for junglers.
Yeah, the big takeaway off of that one is going to be that there is now no flash in mid lane for APA. So we'll be a lot more vulnerable there. And as well, like you mentioned, Razork using his, but Xin might be a little bit more comfortable not having that summoner spell. Meanwhile, Fnatic still with very marginal gold lead off of the extra CS that they've gotten through lanes.
Have to see what it looks like at the level 6 point, though. Obviously, a lot more room for Noah to enable Jun, to allow him to step up and play more aggressively once he has access to the Fate Call. But we've seen so many games where culling, especially on the first strike Lucian, is really where you can start to be that nuisance, start to pull ahead in lane.
And the recall here where Jan's able to come back with the Noon Quiver is a really big one for TL, for the Lucian Nami. Now they'll have a lot more pressure than previously as Impact.
Multi-pullback. Getting one tower shot, immediately going to try to bounce his way out. Again, picking up the blobs, a bit of extra sustain. Ulti traded for ult. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, that's the shockwave. No flash for APA means there's absolutely nowhere to go. Razork with a follow-up kill.
Yep, that's the danger. But now topside.
Oscar maybe a bit too confident in the sustain that he's got. He flashes Umpty! The hard read! Oscar going to get taken down slowly but surely. There's no TP on the side of Fnatic. Umpty clean with it. Nope. Oh, yep.
They get the Goo Man in the end. Oscarin goes down. Honestly, that was a clean prediction there from Umpty. Straight out of the fog of war right there immediately with the Sejuani ultimate, and they do get one back. But APA, you saw him get punished in mid lane for not having that flash, and it was bigger than just the kill. Let's take another look at it, Vetty.
I mean, Humanoid just walks up to him, doesn't want to commit too much, lands the shockwave, sets it up nicely, and it goes back to what we were talking about in draft, where Fnatic's very common to play through this mid lane once they have the Xin Zhao, and they're able to make it work. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Oscar's wave is awkward. Now, great play overall from Impact to set up this play in advance, bringing Oscar in underneath the tower, setting up a nice freeze, and then forcing him to overextend, resulting in a kill traded. Well played from TL as they're able to find something back after losing their mid laner.
Certainly the case. Kasante going to feel a little bit more comfortable on the top side of the map. Extra bit of early MR. And well, we saw a great performance on BB from the Zac. Obviously a champion that can fall far behind, will always have a lot of CC, will always have a lot of sustain, but the bigger concern, I think, is the Kasante getting ahead of the clock, the disruption that this champ can provide, because you've seen, if you don't have the armor pen, you don't have the damage to shred through that health bar, Kasante starts taking over fights pretty damn quick.
Certainly can, and this is going to be one of the big things, right? Because even in situations where you kind of look at the comps in terms of how they execute, and you'd look on paper, well, Fnatic have a very solid front line, they've got good utility, they've got good team fight damage, a lot of AoE, but Kasante can just cause so much disruption and chaos in the fight. What if he just removes Noah from the equation? Do you think this Kalista is going to be able to deal with this Kasante once he gets his 2 items? I would say no, so I think TL still have options. Even though they find themselves at a minor deficit right now, they're still in a comfortable spot and definitely still in this game.
I think one of the biggest things going on right now is that control ward did see Razork on the top side of the map, so Umpty kind of hovering mid lane, and we're going to get a 2v2 possibly.
Razork still walking down into River, will sweep, and now going to spot out Umpty. Can ulti to block any APA follow-up, but won't be able to interrupt the flick back, and Razork just getting taken down clean and patient from Team Liquid. Meanwhile, on the top side, the all-in coming through, but there's no passive for the Zac. Quick thumbs up from Impact. Thanks for the kill, baby.
Umpty has been so good so far this game. He ganked topside to get Impact ahead. Impact gets his solo bolo, and then he counters the gank in mid. That control ward I was talking about in the jungle of Fnatic really paid off there. That gave Umpty the information to get into place. He chained CCs perfectly for the seismic shove from APA, and they get their kill.
The last person to disrespect Impact went on to regret it, and I'm just gonna say, Oscar, things not looking too great right now up in the top side of the map. Also, Razork holding onto both the flash and the ultimate. He thinks that he doesn't need to commit it, but the disrespect coming out from Fnatic is biting them in the backside right now, as TL have secured themselves a minor, but still a gold lead for now.
And while it is just a small gold lead, a lot of early impact from Umpty, and now Jun wants to keep the play going. Excellent handshake. Razork debating if he can fall off because there's a TP on the way in. Flash backwards with the R to try to keep the team standing. Well played by Jun. Keep Noah and himself alive. Razork now just peeling back, and sadly no one does any damage to Impact. Luckily the tower does, but TL out for blood here.
Everybody's coming bottom except for Oscar, and he has no teleport. Impact a little frustrated because he teleported in. They couldn't get any kills there with the good ultimate from Jun. Both these supports are Mercedes featured matchup here. Core JJ with the Nami ultimate disengage, but then Jun to counter the teleport there from Impact does allow Oscar to get a turret plate on top side. Meanwhile, Impact kind of empty-handed on the bottom side.
I mean, this kind of flips that solo kill that Impact was able to get, because the amount of gold that Oscar was able to get back puts him in a very comfortable position now. Shockwave comes through in the mid.
What? In the replay and also in live? All right, well, that was 2 shockwaves.
Oh, this is when Razork died from earlier.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Meanwhile, in live, it looks like APA was able to get away with his life. But yeah, look at the chain CC here. Beautifully done from Team Liquid. Razork should have just committed the ulti earlier.
And now we're live again.
Oh, and
constant action. Jun is dead. Good job, APA, I think. All right, it's been chaotic. We saw a replay, a live shockwave in the replay of another shockwave. We've come back and Jun is dead. I don't quite know how we got here, but profit for TL seems to be the answer. Humanoid not satisfied with that. About to eat a couple rocks to the face, and APA, oh, little question mark. Blitzcrank.
But Noah getting dived.
Getting cold. Jan just walks up and autos him. Goodbye. And this is what you want from the TL bottom lane.
And then you have Razork kind of chasing Umpty out of those grubs, but he's going to have to get out of there. He does steal one. So Razork chases Umpty out, smites away one of the grubs in the aftermath.
Razork goes in.
Goes back in.
Tries to take it. Ulti out, wants to knock Jan up, but Jan has a quick dash back. Here comes the TP, though. Oscar in on the way. Has the elastic slingshot. Good bubble from Core JJ to buy Jan a bit more time. They're debating where they can actually go. Core JJ retreating still, has the movement speed stare at Oscar. Might walk in and try to take out Jan. Recon next to the wall. Oh, Jan's going to regret that. That's the one place he couldn't be. And now they're on the chase. Can he keep his life? Yumpty going in, trying to save the support. The Ignite is going to finish off the kill, but they're going to trade one back. Fnatic over eager. Umpty is absolutely everywhere on the map.
What is Fnatic doing right now? The passive gets popped as well. Absolute chaos happening on the map.
Oscar's
now they're trying to dive Umpty.
Umpty's still living. The Sejuani passive is finally gone. The Cannon Minion and Umpty and Fnatic will grab their kill, but EPA's on the way up and John's going to be in trouble. Bailout, doesn't need to use it quite yet, is still ticking. Low health bar, APA just trying to retreat. In goes Zach. APA stepping forward instead of backwards. It's a nice call overall. The hostile takeover not needed. A shutdown for Humanoid. What is happening?
It's NA versus EU, baby!
Yes, it is!
This is what peak League of Legends looks like, baby! It's a party in the top lane! Meanwhile, bottom side, Impact is focusing on objectives, and he will get a turret.
5 to 7 in kills. The goal is practically even. Let's try and take stock of what's happened off the back of
Please,
that.
everybody, deep breath.
Yeah, deep breath.
They're not killing each other
We're
for...
probably going to get some replays in a second, but I don't know if we can
Detective
break them
Betty.
down.
Detective Betty, please investigate.
So Humanoid is 3-0-1. That's the good news if you're a Fnatic fan. The mid laner is being set up for success. He's getting a lot of gold, and he's looking very fed. The good news if you're a TL fan is that Impact is not only playing Cassante, his Cassante is 2-0-0 and is 1k up over Oscar. So there's a lot of threats on both sides that are going to impact the upcoming fights. With the Dragon spawning in a minute's time and the Herald up, I imagine these two teams looking to brawl once again.
TL, powerful in the mid lane, 3 members pressing in. Yawn obviously has to be dealt with as well. The solution getting ahead of the clock. Impact stepping up into 2 members on the side of Fnatic. Doesn't even need to use the ultimate yet. Happy to kind of keep pulling them back into his team. Good handshake from Jun to disengage, but it's Oscar off on the side. He doesn't have passive. He lost it in the last fight, but now it's APA in trouble. Phase Rush coming out, zooming out to safety. Gets up against the wall, needs the rock surfing to take over, trying to sidestep on a Humanoid. Impact coming in the meantime. APA living for a second too long. Can TL get the follow-up? 4-man core of Fnatic standing strong. Noah coming in, but they don't have a lot of upfront damage. TL now retreating. They're down a man. They've still got most of their cooldowns, however, cooling off.
TL split their plan right there. They got distracted by Oscar. Oscar was distracting them up into the river, and then he flashes away because APA's teleport was so deep and the rest of Team Liquid did not arrive to the original play that they had focused on. They end up giving over the extra kill there. That super deep ward that APA tried to teleport on, he just got focused.
Gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I'm having a lot of fun right now.
I'm enjoying myself too, but I feel like the secret to getting them to kill each other again is just to say, well, it's time to take stock of the game, and then they'll start fighting.
Hang on a second.
And speaking of, MasterCard lane economy snapshot.
I mean, Razork will go in on this. He feels confident enough to fight, know his position. All right, he's fine. He's been able to regroup with his team. Where's Humanoid? Still far from the fight, though.
Congrats on Yawn. Yawn playing really far up. I like that confidence from a Fed Lucian. Dragon will just fall down. The second for TL, getting closer to Soul, and it'll be Infernal. Powerful
Herald
to have.
now becomes unlocked for Fnatic, right? They're going to move up. They've got a slow push setting up in the top lane. They've been able to clear out mid. Humanoid is sitting bot lane, doesn't have the TP. This could be a window for TL to actually force a fight. Impact can join the fight at any moment, but you know what? TL have said we've just secured the Dragon. We're not going to overstay our welcome. We'll catch what waves we can, and we'll concede this for now.
Surprising not to see them try to get aggressive there. Use the Weaver's Wall, but opting to back out. Don't want to take too many risks. Humanoid TP is just about to come off cooldown if they're not 100% confident in that timing.
But look
Very
at
likely
Humanoid
turn against them.
setting up. Oh, I was going to say he's setting up a freeze here to try and milk as much farm as possible. He's got a full level over APA. Same can be said for Impact in the top lane. But let's look back at this fight.
Yeah, so this is the one where clearly the original call is, hey, teleport down, we're going to long chase on them. But then the Lucian, Nami, and Sejuani all kind of get distracted up there. Also, yeah, I mean, that was actually kind of a reach with the teleport anyway. As right on arrival, Humanoid welcomes APA, and he's like, I see. Right into our open arms with the shockwave there.
The one member that isn't scary when they TP in.
Yeah.
Right? You're riding a rock wall in, you're sculpting the terrain in your favor. Talia's a little scary. The TP, face first into the Orianna Sensao, maybe not ideal.
The one person we haven't talked about at all really this series is Yawn, sitting right now at 2 items on the Lucian. He should be coming into these fights feeling strong, feeling confident. He's got a 1k gold lead over Noah as well. He's level 10 to boot. I think that TL, looking ahead at these team fights, if they can just get the optimal setup, there's definitely a world where they can win out. Their big problem is going to be Humanoid. 5-0-1 on the Orianna. He's only continuing to get stronger.
And it will be tough for Yon to navigate these fights, right? You are the Lucian, you have a cleanse, you have a dash, but there's a Zac, a Xin, a very fed Orianna. If you can keep it to that 1v1, I think much stronger champion than the Kalista as we get later into the game, but need to play flawlessly if you want to pull ahead.
I've got an update. Humanoid did indeed all chat. He said mid no TP. I think he was he liked that TP in the last play.
We're going for the plausible deniability VM.
Yeah,
He's just timing it. He's just timing
that
the
is
summoner.
very EU solo.
Mid missing. What can we get through the filter, boys? That's the question.
Umpty hovering around Bob, but Razork's here to cover. A 2-level difference between the junglers. Lost track of that. Of course, Umpty, just a single minion should be enough to get him to level 10, but still, Dragon in about 2.5 minutes. Baron's going to be on the table in a minute and a half. Not that I expect that in the immediate future, but you can see we're approaching, well, we're fully into the mid-game, and both these teams are raring to go.
Okay, so Humanoid does have a very big lead here on the Orianna, so Shockwave is going to be the key thing to dodge here for TL. But TL are on their 2-item power spike for Lucian. Yon and Core JJ are the fully operational Lucian Nami. It's level 11 with your rapid fire on top of your static shiv. That's where you want to really try and plant your feet in mid lane and get as many little chunks on people to open up ways for your team to then get objectives afterwards. But you have to be very careful of this Orianna.
Okay, walked up.
Doesn't have the mana for this.
Took 70% of his HP. Humanoid sending a message. The message is, let me farm my wave, please.
I was going to follow on Kobe's point, the culling is going to be crucial, right? The use of it, and ideally you want to use it earlier rather than later. No, it's not something that you should be trying to clean up on the fight with. You want to start with it, chunk out as much as you can, because the best Lucians in the world that we've seen use it when you're on this wave. And with the dragon spawning in about a minute's time, closer to the objective, that's when Yon ideally just wants to throw it out, chunk down AD carry, maybe chunk down Humanoid, just do as much damage as you can in advance, because that's how you gain that mid control and make it that much harder for your opponent to then control the river.
Okay, death cap has been completed by Humanoid. So the Orianna is definitely the single most terrifying champion on the Rift right now. We will all be tracking Humanoid. He also has Flash up and available. So I think that Fnatic might actually try and look for something on the next Dragon. It's 50 seconds away. If you can get vision, Zac is always a very good delivery system for the Orianna Shockwave. If that's not in great position, then the Xin Zhao can also serve.
Nice. That was a nice trade there from Yon. Exactly, the good timing as well. 35 seconds until the Dragon. Noah ideally wants to heal up. He has the Blade of the Ruin King to get some of it back, but TL doing a good job of controlling this mid wave for now.
And I love how aggressive Yon is playing. I feel like this has been the plague of a lot of Lucians in the LEC and the LCS. You're not confident enough to step in and play to your limits to dash in when so many other players are going to dash out. But Fnatic have first access to the Drake here, and this is going to be a big deal. They have to be careful. So many members of Fnatic in the area. Zac in the Fog of War, Herald getting dropped.
Yeah, that's very important. You need to track the Zac, especially as Umpty. Sejuani can try and Q bump the Zac as the Zac goes for an engage.
Impact's going to tick over to level 13 soon. There it is.
Lloyd off to the side.
Spreading the Herald into mid.
Dash down for Yon for a few more seconds. Need to track the Orianna ball. They take their eyes off it. They very likely lose the fight. Impact starting to step up here.
I like this
Meanwhile,
play from APA.
splitting.
It's a good idea. TL just playing respectfully, conceding the space, allowing him to do what damage he can. Investing the ulti there, though, I think was a little unnecessary as
Now
Fnatic.
the immediate turn. Nice backstep. Yon with the culling on the side of the entire team. Wave going in as well. Pullback only going to hit one. Yon locked up. He's going berserk, but he immediately is going to cleanse out. The Lucian is still standing. Oscar doesn't have a backline to do the damage. Razork finally entering the fight, but it's on to Core JJ. Arctic assault from Umpty to body block for his support to keep Core up. Yon still ready to throw down a bit more, but APA off to the side, split from TL. They're trying to converge on Fnatic. Razork forced to use the ultimate. TL slowly pulling ahead in the fight. Umpty wants to dash in. Noah over the wall. He can't do much of anything. Early damage onto Oscar. Passive already procced, and Fnatic now realize this fight might just be done. Impact going in. Bailout not nearly enough. TL taking Fnatic down.
Team Liquid showing patience in the team fight. Umpty, exactly what we were talking about. He waits for the jump from Zac. He Q bumps him, stops the original engage, and Team Liquid slowly whittle down the front line and go for the long chase on the play.
Could be Baron.
That's definitely going to be at least the Baron start, and I don't see a way for Fnatic to stop it.
And I gotta say, Umpty in this game. The previous series looked a little bit rough. I thought we might get Volibear, Jax, the early action, the comfort, but Sejuani, normally such an underwhelming champion, did so much in the early game and did so much in this fight.
He's been outstanding. This is already after they stuffed the original gauge. This is the long chase. Of course, they did such a good job there. Impact had chunked Noah really low previously. And they're able to finish off the chase.
Yeah, I think it's a shame we didn't get to see earlier in the fight because patience was the biggest factor there for Team Liquid. The Shockwave only connecting onto Core JJ. Jun's ultimate also only connecting onto Core JJ. Like, Noah spent most of the fight just hitting onto Impact and doing what he can, but he was just met with this front line that refused to move. Yon and APA were never really in any danger. A good collapse from APA from the bot side, and the target focus from Fnatic was all over the shot. Great play from TL as they find themselves 2 dragons up. They can set themselves up for the 3rd. They have the Baron. They're set up to take game 1 of this series.
TL, excellent team play around the objective. Good discipline on their cooldowns, and Yon still standing, even when so many members are trying to dive into the backline. Humanoid, again, I think still the focus. Needs to find those multi-man shockwaves if Fnatic want to come back, but for now, they're on the back foot. They have to respect this Red Bull Baron power play, have to give up the 3rd Drake to the side of TL. It's tough if Fnatic want to crawl their way out. We talked about it, the death cap so far ahead of schedule. That fight is like a tickle fedora, you know? It's doing absolutely, if you're only hitting the Nami, it doesn't matter how much you spend on it, it's not gonna do anything.
The death cap, yeah, not very impactful if they're not able to get those critical shockwaves delivered. And the front line was unable to get past these bouncers on Team Liquid, Impact and Umpty. And Core JJ with the Nami ultimate as well, and now slowly, again, with patience, sieging the objectives.
Oscar, good interrupt on the back. Humanoid just continuing to pressure on the side lane. We'll get the objective bounty. We'll stop, really, the effectiveness of this Baron. TL have gotten a single tier 2 from this. Only a 40 gold Baron power play, now shifting up, jumping around as a tier 2 will finally drop in the bottom lane, but a bit stymied in terms of overall effectiveness due to the side lane pressure that Humanoid put down.
Well, Betty, this game calmed down quite a bit.
It did, right? But I think that ultimately it was TL that kind of put the foot on the brake, and they're the ones that slowed things down as Fnatic still eager to fight.
That's not the push you want. Hostile takeover, traded for a tidal wave. Just a lot of cooldowns burned thus far. Coling, Yon split off to the side. Razork sees one member of TL in his eyes, and it's Delusion. The flash for the wall from Yon is good. All of TL descending on the bottom side. Impact on the flank, ready to go in. Good handshake from Yon, but it's not going to stop him. Impact knows his target. Shockwave hitting multiple members, but Impact just runs face first to the Orianna. He is not afraid. Pull back on the ulti is good. APA riding the wall over. Looking to knock down Humanoid. Good side stuff coming from the Orianna. The bailout not going to be enough. Delaying the inevitable. Jun retreating from his own base as TL take the fight.
A one-sided slaughter as Team Liquid completely wiped Fnatic off the map. In under 26 minutes, they already have their eyes on the Nexus.
Siege in on the bottom side. Power play gonna fade away. It was so close to just being even, but TL find the angle to force the fight. Fnatic overstep into their own jungle, just looking for a bit of vision, and it costs them the bot side inhibitor. It costs them 3,000 gold.
No sooner does Betty say that the foot is on the brake than Fnatic slam the gas and they go for the full chase. And it's because they see the ultimates used, but they also just use Razork's ultimate and Jun's ultimate, and Oscar doesn't have passive. So he jumps in on the Zac, immediately gets popped, and then Impact gets the teleport in. K'Sante gaming time for the chase down. Oh, APA had a sick follow-up there as well on the Taliyah. There goes the ultimate from K'Sante, getting Humanoid back from the Blast Cone jump.
I mean, this game, it feels like that it's just been disrespect from Fnatic. They've tried to outplay Team Liquid, and TL have had none of it. While Humanoid may have gotten the better of APA, the overall team performance has been so much cleaner from Team Liquid. 3 dragons up, the Infernal Soul spawning in about 2 minutes' time. TL, they need to keep this control to close out game 1.
Get an engage coming in from Impact. Quick lockup here. Hostile takeover again. But no follow-up onto Umpty. Coling does big damage onto Razork, though he's not going to get a chance to split just barely. Now trying to dash away. Impact can't quite finish the kill. The bailout coming through. Razork will finally drop. Impact unstoppable. Oscar flashing out. Noah just desperate to get anything, but that's K'Sante. Oh, you psycho! He finally knocks it down, but it's just one raid boss amongst 5.
Fnatic trying to fight their way out, but Team Liquid close their grasp on this game. The teleport towards mid lane, they're gonna lay destruction to these towers.
Steady
Team Liquid
siege.
with nothing but confidence, clean execution, a sub 30-minute win is on the horizon. Another inhibitor will fall.
Team Liquid will not be disrespected. 2 inhibitors down. They slowly and methodically will rotate up to top side as
They are
barely
taking their time.
finishes this tower.
I really thought that they would try and end, but you know what? They're saying we're still going to show that respect to Fnatic. We know how aggressive this team is, and we're not going to gamble it. We look back at this fight, it's Razork that's kind of getting collapsed on. Sandwiched is a great word, Kobe. A good ultimate from Jin to buy him some space, but then Razork, he re-engages. Of course he does. Jumps onto Yon, though, in still a very comfortable position. Impact diving the tower because that's the only real threat that he has. He disengages, but the fight is so one-sided as APA takes out Humanoids, and TL wipe Fnatic off the map once again. Yeah,
APA had a really good seismic shove onto Humanoid that was over the wall down there that got Humanoid's flash. And then CoreJJ had follow-up. Nami ultimate back to live, and TL continue their reign of destruction.
Noah's gone. And now TL, it feels like they should just be able to push in. They don't really have the waves outside of mid lane to try to make the end happen here. They are 18 seconds, excuse me, away from Soul. Jun will get the recall off, and it seems like, again, the more reserved call from TL. Fnatic, obviously a team known for their proficiency in the chaos. TL not looking to give them even a moment of it. Cold, controlled discipline, and oh my god, if at first it works again! Fnatic! They can't help themselves! Dying to their own namesake, the Fnatic Death Brush turned against them. TL reading Fnatic on every play, every single time they move up to contest with Vision. They just play for the kill.
Yeah, I think they're just going to play to end the game right now. Humanoid, the only equivalent raid boss on Fnatic, has been taken out once again. The Nexus is in their eyes. APA pushing in bot. There's a wave stacking up there as well. They'll take their time, but they have their goal in mind.
Impact frontlining. Oscar going to struggle to channel the elastic slingshot to get into the backline. Careful to hold the Arctic Assault as long as possible. Ulti coming in, the Fates call from Noah, resetting Jun. Siege on the bottom side, Impact going in, trying to isolate a single target. Unstoppable now, just creating space so his team can hit the tower, but they don't do any damage to Kazante. APA, though, does a hell of a lot of damage to Fnatic. Impact moving through, another Pathmaker coming out as Kazante refuses to drop. And in the meantime, TL, eyes on the prize, hitting the towers. APA now on a rampage. Humanoid is here. Shockwave is available, but it's just not gonna be enough. The Nexus is falling. Team Liquid holding the line, holding hope for North America as they knock down Fnatic in this first game.
Team Liquid with some immaculate team fighting this one. And my honors are going to for game number 1. Really, really well thought out early game on the Sejuani. The early gank up towards top side, then using the vision that he had on Razork to get the counter gank, set them up to be able to play out those team fights in mid lane.
And I gotta say, when you looked at this series on paper, this is not the matchup I expected to be talking about. This is where Team Liquid were supposed to struggle. This is where Fnatic were supposed to be successful. Razork arguably with the superior early game jungler, with the superior early game performance.
I mean, I'm glad that the Mercedes-Benz feature matchup was the supports. Jun a single death, CoreJJ none. We could see how impactful both of them were throughout the game, but ultimately I feel like that CoreJJ kind of kept the reins on his team, whereas Jun couldn't hold back the aggression that we often see from Fnatic. And I do think that Fnatic are going to reset their expectations coming into game 2.
Looking to reset and rein it in. That's enough from us. Let's head over to the analyst desk to break down game 1.
I mean, we needed a bit more faith, a bit more hope in